Hello, people of Earth. How are you doing? Today we are talking about The Kiss Quotient by Helen Hoang, and I have all of the feelings. I have so many mixed feelings about this book. It's not even funny, my dude. It's not even funny. Like, there were some things that I liked, and there were a lot of things I disliked, and then there were just things that were just like, why? Why? And, that's why this book on Goodreads for me has 3 stars, because I just don't know where else to put it, if I'm being honest with you. It's not anything overtly awful or terrible for me, but it's not very good either. It's just, there's fluff, if that's your jam. It's basically like the real life adult version of The Selection, if I'm being honest with you. But hello, it is Savannah from the future. So, I was thinking late at night about my Rant review, basically, and I was like, you did not talk about what the book was actually about. 5-star book reviewer, I know. So, Savannah from the future has come to save the day. Too late, but also right on time. So, The Kiss Quotient, if you didn't know, is about a girl named Stella who has autism, who has a hard time with romance, particularly the sex part. And she basically hires an escort named Michael to help her out. And then eventually it turns into more of her paying him to help her with dating all around. You got me? So, it gets complicated, feelings are all over the place, and it just kind of spirals. Of course it does. Or else the book wouldn't be that interesting. So I just thought I should say that, since I make these reviews for people who've read the book or just want to hear me rant about something that I have a lot to say about. And I had a lot to say about this book, and I thought, I should put in a little synopsis, so that's what I did. Anyway, back to your regularly scheduled programming. I'm gonna get into spoilers. Yay! These are the times where I contemplate my existence. Anyway, I'm gonna jump into it right now. I'm looking at my Goodreads review because it's very detailed, and it's gonna help me articulate my thoughts. So if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my phone. So there's no other way of saying it. I am a virgin at the time of filming this. I am a virgin, and I don't, I'm not ashamed. I don't think it's abnormal to be 18 and to not have sex. It doesn't bother me. I don't feel insecure about it. However, if you've read this book, you know that there's a couple of really explicit sex scenes, and I've never read that in a book, and I haven't read that in a book ever, and this was my first book where it had that, explicitly descripted. And I don't want to be weird about it, but I felt like I learned something. I feel like I learned something from this book, because I have not gotten the talk from my parents. Everything I know about sex and everything about that endeavor is from TV shows, is from movies is from books and what my friends have told me. So now I feel like I got a little bit, I don't want to say educated, but I feel like I learned something, which is cool. Also, I'm gonna fix the lighting. Is that slightly better? Alright, well, you already clicked on this video, so yeah. I liked when Michael gave Philip a black eye for forcing himself on Stella. Like, yes, you can come at me for saying that, I kind of liked someone, punching someone else, but I feel like it was warranted. Like, Philip was being an asshole and he was trying to, like, smooch Stella, and Stella was, not into it, and you can't just force yourself on someone ever. That's not okay. And Michael was like, bitch. So, do I think, so yeah, I'm okay with that, and I liked that, okay? I also liked how Stella just casually had a taser. Like, she's so nonchalant about it that, like, we stand. We stand, okay? I liked Michael's best friend, Quan. He was cool. I liked how, the best friend of the love interest, or one of the love interests, wasn't, like, super, like, they weren't into Stella. They were there because the other love interest has friends, and has a best friend, like, there wasn't just another male character that had some relation to Michael that was into Stella for the sake of, a plot device or something. We actually had a friendship. What? So I liked that. And I also liked the family dynamics. Very nice, very nice. Love the family dynamics. Usually, I'm used to YA where family is just a foreign concept. You might as well be talking about a mythological creature like a unicorn. Like you know that this is a terrible analogy. I'm moving on. So, family dynamics, very wholesome. I liked Michael's rambunctious family. Well, I'm not saying that the whole dad leaving them thing was very wholesome. I'm saying that, like, the sibling relationships were wholesome. I don't want y'all to think that that's what I'm saying, because the dad is an asshole, but everyone else seems pretty wholesome, so yeah. So now we're going to get into the things that I didn't like. Ooh. There is a lot. Okay, I had to crack my back because the weight of all of the things I didn't like is just piling on me, you know what I mean? So, Michael's possessiveness. So, when I was reading the Kiss Quotient, right, I got, like, to the 100-page mark, 150-page mark, and it was around where Stella was getting really, like, aggressive with the whole, when she visits Michael's family's house for the first time, and she complains about the plastic and, like, BPA and how it's poison and stuff like that, which it made me not like Stella as much, even though I understand that she has a harder time communicating with people. It's still rude. It was still really, really rude, and it just made me not like her character as much. I eventually got over it because I'm like, it's whatever. And I got over it, but it really made me upset in the moment when I was reading it. And I started to not like the book as much. Like, I had liked it up until then, and then that kind of turned me off. So I went to go read some reviews on Goodreads as a great nerd I am, I looked on Goodreads and I was like, did anyone else have this issue? And then I saw one that talked about Michael being possessive, and that was one of the reasons that they didn't like it. Because, you know, on the Goodreads app, you can look at just 2-star reviews, or just 1 star, or just 5-star. I was looking at the 2-star reviews. And then I started to notice it. I started to notice Michael being really possessive, calling Stella his all the time. For me, that isn't like super bad. It's just kind of like annoying. Like, I get that people do that in real life, so it didn't really bother me. And I'm like, that's not really an example of him being super possessive. You know, tons of guys do that, and it's just something that they do, and it's not like a huge deal. However, that is just one thing out of, it's like on a pile of different possessive traits, which makes it stand out more, if you get my drift. So, I think the other thing that really bothered me about Michael was the fact that he's not an r/nice guy, but there are times where, you know, he would ask Stella to do something a little bit out of her comfort zone, or ask her to do, to try out new things. And, you know, Stella said that she was uncomfortable, and Michael would ask her if she was uncomfortable, and then Stella would be like, yeah, I'm uncomfortable. And then he would kind of convince her to go along with it, and then, of course, every time Stella liked it. I can't name one time where Stella didn't like it except the club, which she kind of still went along with for a while. And it only really bothered her when we learn later Philip's mom comes in, and Philip, asshole, right, his mom was one of Michael's clients. So that's just a web. That's just a web. Imagine you're dating someone and you realize that they had sex with this dude that's trying to get with you's mom. That's a whole web. And she bought him a car. Like, damn. So that really bothered me, that, you know, Stella would be like, yeah, I'm uncomfortable, and then Mike would be like, he asked her, and then would just kind of keep going with it. He didn't do that all the time, but it was, I don't think he did all the time, but it bothered me. And the more I noticed it, the more I got like really angry, because I'm like, because the more I noticed it, the more it really like, it was bad. It was a bad look. Bad look, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah. I mean, there were so many examples, like with the French kissing, and with like meeting his family and stuff. Also, I don't really like French kissing. I don't know why I decided to add that. I just, you know, I don't understand. Guys seem to like it, and I never understood why, just because it's really gross to me. I feel like girls are more turned off to it than guys, and I don't know. Anyway, one thing that really bothered me about this book is that a large part of the plot has to do with miscommunication and them just not being honest with each other, and that was super annoying, just because that's I get that happens in real life. It's just so frustrating to read. Like, just tell her. Just tell her. Just tell him. You know what I mean? Like, it made me really frustrated. Like, just speak your truth. Please. Like, and you have to read it for hundreds of pages, and it's just like, okay. Alright, we're doing this now. And another thing, with Michael, he's so, like, insecure. Kinky, but insecure. It's the weirdest combination ever, because he's very good looking, he's very talented in his tailoring, sewing, all of that, designing, but he like seems to think that his dad's actions like would be a turnoff to Stella, like as if like why I don't understand that, because if you're dating someone and they're turned off about what your parents did, like that doesn't make any sense to me, because what your parents do is their crap. And I get that parents' crap can lead into your life, but at the same time, just because his dad did these things doesn't mean that Michael is going to do these things. And I think that's just kind of common sense, and for whatever reason, he thinks Stella is going to be, like, turned off, or, like, won't want to date him at all, will just drop him if she, like, finds out about his dad. And I just don't understand that. I don't think it makes a lot of sense to me. I don't think I need to keep explaining it. I just don't understand. For the next part, I have a really long rant, and I'm kind of gonna read what I wrote on Goodreads, just because it really bothered me. And I think this is why, this book pissed me off. It didn't just, like, annoy me, like, it made me seriously frustrated, and it has to do with how Michael, because he has so many reasons why Stella won't like him, and we already talked about the dad thing. Now we're going to talk about, like, the education thing, how he feels like he's not, like, educated enough to be with Stella, and I'm about to say why that's a load of bullshit. I get that when you date someone, you want to be able to talk about what interests them and carry a conversation on their level, but that would mean logically that Michael would think Stella needed to date someone in economics, not someone with more education, whatever the fuck that means. To me, as someone who comes from a trades family, it was insulting that Michael was insinuating that he couldn't have a relationship with Stella because she was so much smarter than him, because she got a more valuable education in his eyes. I get that a lot of people date/marry people in the same field as them because they automatically have a lot in common and can have a lot more conversations and stuff like that, but the mere concept that you can't date someone because they went to Stanford or Harvard or something, and you went to the JC, which isn't what happened, but this is the comparison I'm making, because they are so intellectually smarter that makes them better than you. Like, what the fuck, bro? Just because someone goes to a better college than you or is in a more intellectually stimulating field does not make them better than you. It just means they took a different career path, and they know more in their specialized field. I could go on about that whole thought process and Michael's thoughts I could go on, but that whole thought process and Michael's thoughts made me insanely frustrated. Yeah. I don't really have anything to add to what I just said. It's so hard for me to articulate that point, because as I pretty much just said everything I feel. That made me so, like, it was just insulting to me. It was just insulting to me, and I don't, that's how I feel about it. Other thoughts. So, Philip, we already established he's an asshole, and Philip needs to leave. Now, one thing I don't understand is that Philip's behavior, like, I feel like that can qualify as harassment in the workplace, like workplace harassment. So, I feel like Stella could get Philip fired. I would do that. I don't remember that happening in the book. I think that she should have done that. So maybe that happens in the other books, because this is like a trilogy or something, which I don't really see why it needs to be that way. But whatever. Helen Hoang, get your coin, okay? I feel like I have more to say. Do I? I feel like one thing I want to mention is the fact that I get that Stella, has a harder time with social skills and stuff, but Michael isn't autistic, right? So I don't get how he just seems like kind of like he's smart dumb. Like he's smart, but in like for romance, he's kind of dumb in terms of his thing with Stella, right? Because I just don't understand how he didn't see that Stella genuinely liked him. Also, Stella was giving him bank, like Jesus. I don't know how I feel about that. And I also thought it was kind of weird, Stella has a lot of money. And I get that she has a trust fund or whatever, but she also has a really good job. However, it bothered me how she, her way of showing that she loved Michael was, through things a lot of the time. You know what I mean? And then just, she wanted to buy him a car, and she wanted to give him a lot of money for having a girlfriend-boyfriend relationship with her. And she did that thing for his mom, which was so nice. That was cool. I really liked that. But the other two things with the car and, giving him a lot of money and all of that, it just felt like, I don't know, it just rubbed me the wrong way, how she really did have a hard time, displaying how much she loved him, and I felt like she had grown through the novel, but at the end, she wanted to give him a car, and I just thought that was kind of weird, because, I don't know, I just thought that was kind of weird. I feel like the smarter way to go would have been to, since Michael opened a business for his designs and stuff, she could have bought him a van for his business, and then technically he would have, a new car, if you get my drift. But that's about it for this review. That's all I really have to say. I could go on about how this book simultaneously, I enjoyed reading it, but it extremely frustrated me. I won't be continuing the series. I just won't. I read this because I saw Read with Cindy. She posted a wrap-up and she had read it. And it looked interesting. I'm glad I read it just because I feel like, I don't know. I'm just glad that I got out of my comfort zone. I'm glad that I have read an adult book now, and I've read adult books before. It's just that I haven't really read a real adult romance book before, and with explicit sex scenes in it, which is out of my comfort zone, and I'm glad that I read it, but I didn't really enjoy the book. But it's fine. It's fine. Yeah. As I said before, share, comment. I love reading comments. If you feel like, if you don't, then glad you watched the video. I will see all of you in the next one. Goodbye.